Well, I'm excited to continue with our series talking about talking about that God always provides a way out. And this week we're specifically talking about fighting temptation. Okay? Specifically talking about that. We're going to be diving in. Now last week our main verse, which I want us to start off by reading it again. I believe it's at the top. If it's not, I'm not sure. Did I put it at the top of the list? Because if I didn't... Okay, good. Alright, we're going to read this right fast because the thing in the back has stopped working, so that's okay. Alright. The temptations in your life are no different from what others experience. And God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. When you are tempted, He will show you a way out so that you can endure. Tonight, the way out that we're going to be looking at is actually fighting temptation. All right, we're going to talk about how we actually battle against it. But if we really want to do that, we kind of need to know the process of temptation. Okay, we need to know, how does temptation work? All right, so here's how it works. It first starts in thoughts. Okay. For example, thought, man, I'm kind of down. I feel like I go to my closet and I'm like, I have all this to wear but nothing to wear, and so I'm going to go buy some clothes, right? So you're like, Jack, this is not speaking from experience. Hush. All right, but so you're feeling down. The thought, I need some more clothes. Okay, and then maybe you go, okay, your imagination. All right, you go to your imagination and you think, yeah, I would look pretty good in some new clothes. Kind of picture myself running down, walking, sitting in a chair. I picture myself wearing that clothes, sitting in a chair, and looking very nice. You know, and then the next part is justification. I think, I work hard. I earn my money. I can spend it how I want. So I'm gonna buy this new outfit. And then we make the choice. And I pull up Amazon and I'm like, yeah, right there. So some jorts. Yes, that's what I need. Right?
Yes.
You know, maybe I'm like, oh yes, that kilt, it's time. I've raised all this money, I earned it, right? This is how the process of a temptation happens. Okay? It goes from thought to imagination to justification to your choice, and then there's sin. Alright, so if we know this process, then we're going to be able to kind of stand up against it. For example, for a lot of us, now I'm not saying that buying jorts is a sin, although some of you might. Okay? But that's not biblical. Alright? But what I'm saying, like, in any temptation you have, this is the process. Let's say for sin. So a thought. I'm kind of in the mood to see something hot. Maybe something sexy. So, and then your imagination, you go, oh, you know what? I saw that Instagram account that so-and-so liked or followed. I might go check that out. Justification. Well, everyone else has already followed. I have a whole bunch of friends that already follow that one. Or, I'm not married yet, or things of that nature. We get the justification down. Choice. Okay? I'm just gonna see what the most recent post is on that one. I'm just gonna look at it. I'll pull that one up, and then we're in sin. Okay? This is not just dealing with sexual sin. This is dealing with all types of sin. Okay? Maybe you're sitting there thinking, man, I can't stand so-and-so. Then you imagine, oh, it would feel so good to let this person know how much I can't stand so-and-so. Then you think, well, I heard that person talk about so-and-so last week. And then you're like, I'm going to talk with so-and-so about so-and-so. There's a lot of so-and-sos out there. But I'm going to talk with them, and then boom, you're gossiping. It's a process, and I want you to know it is absolutely critical if you're going to fight temptation to start battling this process at the beginning. You don't need to wait till you're at choice to figure out, okay, I need to slow down. But for example, I had a friend of mine who went on a mission trip to Jamaica. Okay, and she actually, if you've seen my prom pictures, she's the one I went to prom with. Really nice lady. We went as friends, just so you know. But anyway, and that's cool to do, by the way. Anyway, So we went just as friends, whatever. That summer she was going to Jamaica with this group. Now she's the type of girl that it's like if you say she can't, she will. Right? And so there's a couple of guys on this trip who decided that they were going to climb up on top of the bathrooms and jump from the bathrooms to this bank. It was like a 5-foot gap. Not much shorter than me gap. So it's a gap there, and they're like jumping over it. And she was like, well, I'll do it. And they're like, no. You don't need to do that. I don't think you'll make it. And she's like, I won't make it. I can make it. I can do whatever you want. And so she climbs up there. For her, she gets back this big running start on there, and she's running. Okay? The point for her to actually battle doing this stupid act was not whenever she's like running towards the edge. If you haven't seen Chariots of Fire, you should. All right, so it's not at this point. It's not when you're about to leap off, when she's about to jump off this makeshift toilet thing to a bank. That's not the time for her to go, I don't know if I should do this. When was the time that she should have done that?
In the beginning.
Whenever she was in the beginning, in the thought stage of going, I could do that. If she battled it then she wouldn't have broken her arm and ended up in a Jamaican hospital. Right. Which was not a great thing. They reset that arm without nothing. She was tough. They just put it together. Right? It was not a fun experience for her. So if we're going to battle, if we're going to fight temptation, we got to start at the beginning of this process. And so how do we do our ultimate start of battling temptation? Here's what you do. You submit to God. That's what you do. You have to submit to God if you really want to fight temptation. Otherwise, you're going to be running the same direction. Your flesh, if you're living by that, if you're living by what you think is best, you're going to go ahead and do what you want to do because no one else is battling. But whenever you're going, okay, God, I'm going to submit myself to you, then you're going to be able to make some other decisions. Okay? James 4:7 says this. It says, submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Most people look at that verse and they go, right there. You resist the devil and he'll flee from you. Boom. What comes before resist the devil and he'll flee from you? Submit yourself then to God. You got to do that first, okay? And if we're going to submit, if we're going to start this battling, we're going to submit, we have to realize what we were doing and thinking in our thought process is wrong. If you don't think something's wrong, you're not going to change the habit, right? If you want to lose weight, and you sit there and go, there's nothing wrong with, 14 hours of inactivity during my wait time during the day, you're probably not going to make that dramatic change to losing weight. Okay? Because you don't think it's wrong. You got to admit that something is wrong. That means giving up, okay, God, I'm giving you my mind. I'm giving you my eyes. I'm giving you my hands. I'm giving you my feet. I'm giving you my heart. I'm submitting all of that to you. I'm giving it over to you. That's where we got to start if we're wanting to actually battle temptation and win. Okay? So we start there. That's the beginning line. If we were in a movie, that would be the part where the person realizes, I got to do something. Right? Maybe if it was something like Kung Fu Panda. I don't know if you see, we're going to show a clip in just a second. Not yet. We're going to show a clip in just a second because I don't know why, but I relate a lot to Poe. I think it's because we're both funny guys and not that we're both kind of round. But I love Poe, right? In the beginning of that movie, he just wants to see what's going on, right? How many of you seen Kung Fu Panda? I just need to know what I'm dealing with here. Okay, good. Good. I like saying Kung Fu. If you don't like it, go talk to my teachers in Blue Ridge, Georgia. All right, so Kung Fu Panda. So anyway, so he wants to just see what's going on. And then he gets picked to be the Dragon Warrior, right? He gets this point. There's going to be a point where he decides that this is what he's supposed to be. That is your starting point, right? Okay, I need to stand up. I need to fight, right? So when we get to that point, we submit to God. We go, okay, God, I know that what I'm doing is wrong, whether it's gossiping, whether it's looking at pornography, whether it's making fun of someone on the bus, if you're on the bus, if it's something like you just think you're the best thing since sliced bread, or you're even better than you're just so much better, whether it's pride, whatever it is, we got to realize, okay, God, I'm going to submit to you so I can fight it. Okay? So then we get to the second part. So we've decided to fight. Right? We decided to fight. What now? It's time to get in there. It's time to throw some punches. But more than likely, you probably don't know how to fight. Now some of you are sitting there and me just saying, I don't know how to fight. Bring it. Guys in the room just bucked up a little bit in their head. I don't know about you, but I know whenever I was coming up, I never fought anybody. I had one fight with my brother. My whole life. Never fought anybody. Over Christmas time, I was arguing with my brother, not fighting, was arguing. No physical, no fisticuffs. All right? And my uncle was so tired of me, he said, take it outside. Just take it outside. And I said, let's go. It's time. It's a long time coming. I think I was 10, I think he was 12. A long time coming. We're going. I'm rolling up sleeves and throwing the jacket off, taking the earring. No. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gearing up. We go outside. I'm like, come on, come on, come on. My brother goes, right in my shoulder. I fell hard. I was like, oh! Down. I didn't know how to fight. And evidently I have a really weak shoulder. Right? Or maybe just hit me in the right spot. I didn't know how to fight. I don't know how to fight. I still don't. Luckily, I don't have to a lot. Right? It was not part of my repertoire. I didn't naturally know. And whenever we look at Poe, I'm going to show you this video right fast, is he doesn't quite know how to fight either. Let's go ahead. If spoiler, if you haven't seen the movie, he starts off, he doesn't know how to fight. He wants to fight, he wants to be a Kung Fu master, he wants to be the Dragon Warrior, but he doesn't know how. And it's kind of the same way with us. Whenever we look at fighting sin, it's not something that we naturally know how to do. It's not something that's like, okay, I'm just going to quit sinning. Today, I'm stopping right now. No, it's not going to happen. It's going to have to be a process. And today I want to give you two keys to fighting sin. Okay? 2 keys to fighting sin. And the first one is this. Eliminate the cause of the temptation. If you're serious about fighting sin, you need to eliminate the cause of temptation. Okay, for you, what is tempting you? Maybe your smartphone. Okay, maybe for your smartphone is your gateway to look at things you should not, to read things you shouldn't, to participate in stuff you shouldn't. You know what? You can eliminate that part of your life. Go to a dumb phone. We go to a phone that doesn't send pictures or look up internet. You might be thinking that's crazy, but no, if we're going to fight, we're serious about fighting sin, it's going to take something serious. Maybe Instagram is making you vain because you're just so good at taking selfies, right? Or you're that person who gets someone to stop whatever's going on so you can get a good picture. Oh, this is going to be a great picture. Hold it. Here we go. All right, ready? And then you're take it 85 times. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on. All right, how do they look? Okay, we're going to do it again. Hold on. Everyone has that friend, right? They're sitting there don't rush my art. This is art, right? If Instagram is causing you to be vain, delete your account. Okay? If a relationship is pushing you to go too far, if a relationship is pulling you away from Jesus, if a relationship is making you not as good of a person, making you a worse person, end it. Get out of that relationship, that significant other. No. Get rid of it. And you may be like, Jack, okay, this is some pretty extreme stuff. And it may seem that way, but you also got to take sin seriously. If you really want to fight temptation, you have to know that letting sin continue is a horrible and a bad thing. Because sin always grows. Sin always grows. Whenever you have a sin in your life, no matter what it is, it does not stay in this nice little oh, you know what? I just had this little thing, I just like making fun of this one little person. They just they deserve it. If they didn't want it, they wouldn't wear jorts, right? No. And you sit there and you go, okay, but that's just my one thing. It never stays there. It never stays there. It's never something that just sits idle. Sin is always going to be pushing you to do more sin. It's kind of like if you're in a river and you don't do nothing, you're floating in a river, then you're going to be going downriver. You're like, oh, I'm not doing anything, whatever. No, you're getting further and further away from upriver. But if you really want to get upriver, you're going to have to swim. And you're going to have to swim hard. You're going to have to work at it. It's the same. Sin does not sit still. Our verse we're going to look at, here's, I believe, from Matthew 5. And it starts here. It's verse 27. I'm going to look up here with you. This is how serious sin is. Okay, Jesus is talking here. It says, you have heard it. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, read with me, tear it out. I didn't hear a soul out there, so ready? Tear it out. Okay? That's as far as I want you to read. Stop reading with me. And throw it away. For it is better for you to lose one of your members than it is for your whole body to be thrown in hell. Let's pause right there. So, Jesus is talking about this. He's saying, if your right eye, I don't know how your right eye will cause you and not your left, but if your right eye is causing you to sin, go get a spoon and shovel that thing out. This is graphic. I mean, this is what he's saying. It is better for you to lose that eye that's causing you to... I mean, that's what they... Right? It is better for you to lose that eye than for you to be completely consumed by sin. Okay? He doesn't stop there. Jesus is like, hey, we got to keep going. Dismemberment. Yeah. And if your right hand causes you to sin... I don't know what the right hand's doing, but it's causing you to sin. Cut it off. I want everybody with me. Cut it off. Right? And throw it away. Okay? Cut it off and throw it away, for it is better you lose one of your members than that your whole body go into hell. Y'all may be thinking about that like, dang, Jesus. I know that's like a meme or something on Vine or something. But anyway, with dang. Alright. But Jesus is sitting there saying, he's saying that sin is not going to just take this one little piece of your life and be ho-hum and content. I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to be in this one corner. It's like a cancer, okay? If you don't get rid of it, it's going to keep on growing. It's going to keep on spreading. All right? It's absolutely serious. And if you want to fight it, to battle it, you have to, one, know that it's serious, and two, take dramatic steps to get rid of it. Okay? Even back into the thought process whenever we go through that. Just back in the beginning, we got to eliminate the cause of the temptation wherever you can. So that's the first step. If you can eliminate it, get rid of it. Take it out. Remove it. Alright? Second step is this. You need to put up roadblocks for sin. My brother, whenever he was visiting in Afghanistan, he had the opportunity to go to this airport. And the airport he went through, it was just a really big pain. Because when you were driving in the airport, they had this little bitty skinny road, and it was like you had to go in, and then you had to turn, because there's a big concrete wall. And you go, and then you had to make a really tight turn, and then you had another little wall. And it went that way for like the last mile of the trip into the airport. And it took him a long time. And my brother, when he got out, he was like, well, that is a horrible piece of engineering. You're using way too much road. You're making it so much longer. Why would you do that? And the guy that was there with him, he said, in this area of the world, we have a lot of trouble with people wanting to blow things up. And in all honesty, what we do is we have it set up like that. So if you were wanting to come in, you would not be able to get all the way in to blow the airport up Because you have that mile of not going more than 5 miles an hour, where we have people posted at every turn being able to look in there, be on the vet. If you didn't stop at the checkpoint, there's no way you're going to make it to the end of that route before they take you down. No way. We got to do the same thing for the stuff in our life that we can't eliminate, right? More than likely, some of you would love to, but you can't eliminate going to school. All right? You know, some of you, it's like, you know, you have to have a job, so you can't eliminate going to a job. Some of you, your family is the part that just causes you to sin because you want to punch them in the face, right? Or maybe it's something like, maybe they spoil you. I don't know. But something that you can't get rid of, so we have to put up these walls, put up these roadblocks blocks to slow things down. For example, I got a verse for you here. It's from Proverbs 4:14 through 15. It says this. It says, "Do not set foot on the path of the wicked, or walk in the way of evildoers. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Turn from it and go on your way." We got to be able to put stuff up so we can be able to see things coming that we can avoid. All right? So when you're putting up barriers, for example, maybe you have trouble with putting others down. You know, when you're with this certain group, and you may know how this is, there's certain groups that make you do certain things, or you're more inclined to do certain things, and maybe you have a group of friends that whenever you're together, what you do is you just judge other people and you look down upon them. Maybe that's what you do, okay? So if that's what you do, you got to put up some roadblocks. First off, decide, okay, I'm not going to hang out with them. That's a first start, okay? I'm not going to hang out with them. Then, you know what? Let's make some plans in that time that you normally hang out. So if they do call, you can be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm already meeting up with so-and-so because there's so many so-and-sos." Right? So I'm already meeting up with so-and-so, I can't. Then beyond that, maybe it's something along the lines of you prepare what you're going to say. Be like, "Okay, you know what? I'm meeting with so-and-so, but our conversations I don't feel are good. I just feel like this is all we talk about." Maybe it's pornography with you. Maybe that's an issue that you have and you're having trouble fighting it. Okay, maybe you don't leave your phone in your room. You charge it in the living room. Okay, you go in the living room and you leave it charged there, leave it charged in the kitchen, then you go to bed. There are things called alarm clocks that aren't your phone if you need one. You can look it up, on the computer if you don't know what those are. You can get those. Okay, so maybe that's something you have to do. Maybe you remove the TV from your room. When I was in college, none of our roommates that I had in my house, no one had a TV in our room. The only TV we had was in the main room, was in the living room. And anyone could walk in at any point in time. That was something that we decided that we're not going to have any other TV besides this one. So, okay, that's a roadblock, because if I decide I'm going to watch something bad and they're going to watch something bad, they're going to sit there and think, well, someone could walk in at any time. So it's a roadblock. It's something to slow that down. And then maybe give someone else a password for your internet. You go, okay, you know what? I need you to make the password for anything bad. Or maybe you just need to put up blockers on your phone or on your internet, period. But you go, okay, that way I can't even get in because I don't even know. You got to put up roadblocks. But there's key to putting up these roadblocks. Okay? There's some keys to it. If you really want to be successful, here's what you're going to need to do. Okay? First one, you're going to need to find out what triggers the thought. What triggers this thing that you are giving into? You're eating way too many donuts. What triggers the thought? Whenever, I go by Krispy Kreme. Sorry. I love some Krispy Kreme. I'm not going to lie. I got 5 days, I think. No, I got 7 days from today, and then Lent's over. All right. Anyway, so sorry. Maybe it's a person. Maybe a person is what triggers those thoughts that cause you to sin. Maybe it's something like an action or a particular activity or problem. Maybe it's band. Maybe it's soccer. Maybe it's some sport. Maybe it's track. All right. Maybe it's Science Olympiad. I don't know. Maybe it's your League of Legends team. I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to cover everybody, right? Maybe it's something along those lines. Okay? Maybe it's a location. Maybe it's your room after 10 o'clock at night. Maybe it is whenever you go and you are in a classroom and you sit behind that particular person who's just such a hottie, right? Because people talk like that, right? Maybe that's some location that triggers it. You need to find what the trigger is. Okay? Once you find what the trigger is, then you're going to be able to do the second step, which is put distance between you and the trigger. Alright? You don't want to accidentally shoot a gun. If you're nowhere near the gun, you're not going to shoot it. Right? Unless you have telekinetic powers. Right? You're not going to be able to do that. Alright? So put some distance. It's the person. Don't be in the same place with them. If this person caused you to sin, and remember, sin is something that always grows. It's bad. Alright? If that person caused you to do it, don't be around them, or at least try to limit your time around them. Okay? If it's an action, find another activity. Is it worth it? Yes. Jesus was like, pop your eyeball out. I think it's going to be easier for you to go, you know what? I don't need to be a part of this activity anymore. This activity. I'm sure it wouldn't be that easy, by the way. Don't try that at home. Alright? So you got to find another person, find another activity. Maybe avoid that location. Maybe if it's the bedroom deal, maybe you need to go to bed at 9. Maybe you need to leave your door open. Yeah, right? Maybe that's what you need to do. I'm just saying, that's what so we find the trigger, then we put distance between us, and then we need to find accountability. If you really want to stop temptation, to be able to fight it, to be able to put up the roadblock and not have to succumb to it, you need to find someone to keep you accountable. Now, this someone doesn't need to be someone who's going to be like, you're going to be like, oh man, or this exaggeration, oh, I killed someone else again. And they're going to be like, oh dude, you know what? Tough luck, man. It happens. Do better. Not what you need to do, right? Your accountability, if we're just going to go with the same analogy, like, oh man, you know, I really feel like killing so-and-so, and the person needs to be like, that's bad. Don't do it. In fact, you know what? You feel like you're going to hit him in the head with a hammer tonight. You know what? How about you come hang at my house? How about leave the hammer? You know, maybe it's something along the lines you go, okay, you know what? I'm going to call you to remind you that this is a bad thing at about, when you're going over there, okay, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to call you. Maybe it's something along the lines of that person goes, they need to be somebody that's not going to give in and say, oh, it's okay. Because it's not. Whatever sin you're trying to defeat, it's not okay for you just to say, oh, I'm just going to give in this time. Right? That's going through that justification part of that thought process. You need someone in your life that can understand what you're going through, but is there to go, okay, you know what? It takes work for me to be accountability with you. If I was accountability for Braden and eating, Hershey's, I don't know. What do you like to eat? What's your favorite candy? Sorry, I couldn't relate to that. All right, Twix. So if he's Twix, if I'm going to be like, hey man, we'll meet up once a week. I'm like, hey man, have you eaten Twix this week? It needs to be an honest conversation, right? It needs to be someone that he can be honest with. Because if he just lies to me, that's no good for accountability either. So I'll be like, have you eaten Twix? He's like, yes. I'll be like, man, where'd you eat Twix? When I was over at Evan's house, he has like tons of Twix. He's like, Twix all over the place. Okay, you know what? Maybe you don't need to go to Evan's house. All right, but I go by Kroger every day. Well, maybe you should stop going to Kroger. Right? And this sounds, this is like, oh, funny, Twix, and don't kill people, which I agree, don't kill people. But, listen up, but it is absolutely critical when you find this person as someone who is going to fight for you. Because this is to make your life better. This is so you're able to follow Christ better. Our last thing, after all that, and should be the first thing that goes along with submitting to God, it's pursuing God. It's not enough just to say, okay, God, you got my heart, you got my head, I submit to you. Then you got to run after Him, right? You got to pursue Him. If you've ever had someone you liked, like you like, you know what I'm talking about, like you liked them. And that's, I don't know if people use that term anymore, but that was a term when I was a kid. Like if you were interested in dating someone, you said you liked them. Because that makes sense. Oh yeah, Rose knows what I'm talking about. You liked them, right? And whenever you like someone, when you like someone, you found out what they liked. Not but like. You find out, okay, what do they think is a good idea? What do they think is a bad idea? What do you think they would want me to wear? What do you think they would have me? What actions do you think they would do? And imagine how much more it would be for someone you love. Whenever you submit to Jesus, you're in love with Jesus. Jesus loves you. And you go, okay, I'm going to pursue after you, Jesus. I'm going to read your word. I'm going to pray. Okay, this isn't some half-hearted, I just come to church on Sundays and then I think about it for about 3 hours and I fall asleep and then I forget everything. And then on Wednesday I get reminded that I love Jesus again. And then Sunday I come back and maybe a Tuesday morning if I come to breakfast, if I don't, well, this is not just some home thing. This is like in love with Jesus. So I'm going to pursue Him. I'm going to want to learn more about Him. I'm going to talk with Him in prayer. I'm going to go, okay, if I'm following after Jesus and I care what Jesus thinks, how does this action I'm doing reflect on what Jesus would want me to do? Pretty sure Jesus doesn't want me to kill anybody. Put that on the checklist, right? I'm pretty sure Jesus was looking at that person who is wearing the jorts and I'm just crushing them on Instagram or Twitter or something like that. I don't know. However you crush people today. Jesus probably not looking at that going, that's exactly what I want you to do to one of my children, to one of the God's created, to someone I gave my life for. We really want to battle temptation. We eliminate what's causing the temptation. We put up roadblocks and we follow hard after Jesus. Because we already know that God's going to give us a way out. Right? We already know that. He said that. He promised that. He's going to provide us a way out. And so part of that way out, a lot of times, is us pursuing Him. So tonight what I want you to think about is this. I want you to think of what is that thing that you give into temptation most? Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's, maybe it's something with sexual sin. Maybe it is gossip. Maybe it is, just being mean. Maybe it is for you of not putting God first. What is that thing in your life? And I want you to think about that thing, and I want you to think about this. If that action, if that whatever is causing you sin, if it was radioactive, if it was radioactive, and it was going to kill you by keeping it close to you, this is rhetorical, but would you give it away? Of course you would. If this microphone stand here, what's iPad stand, it's converted microphone stand, if it was radioactive, if I knew that me standing right here and you being in this close proximity was going to kill you, you would get out of here. You wouldn't come back. You'd be gone. I want you to think about that sin that you're allowing just to live there, that you're allowing just to hang out in your life. That is what it is. It's something that is eroding at your life. It's something that's pulling you down. It's something pulling you away. And tonight, while we're singing our last song, I want you to think about, is that sin worth more than Jesus? Is that thing that I'm doing wrong, is it more important than the one who died for you? And you might be thinking, Jack, it's a little heavy. It is. Don't want to sugarcoat it, because that's what you say. Whenever you choose that sin, you're saying, I love this sin more than I love God, more than I love Jesus. God says He's going to provide you a way out. God says He's not going to put anything there that's going to be too strong for you to handle with Him. Submit yourself to God. Then resist the devil and he will flee. I want you to think about that during the last song. We all pray with me. Father God, You are awesome and you are amazing. And we love you and we thank you for the price that you paid for us. We thank you as we come into this Holy Week, as we get ready to celebrate your death and your resurrection. God, that you did that so that we can have a relationship with you, and you did that so we would no longer be bound by sin, that we would no longer be captive to sin. Through doing that, you gave us a way out. You gave us something that would give us the ability to not be controlled by our sinful nature. God, I pray that tonight as we do this last song, as we think about it, God, that I pray that you help us to find what is that thing that we keep holding on to that's a sin, that's wrong, that goes against what you want from us. God, I pray that you help us to see that, and I pray, God, that you give us the courage to be able to give that up, to submit it to you, and to put all these things in place so that we don't fall back into temptation. In your name, Lord Jesus, I pray.